Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Well, I am here today. I don't usually come on Sundays, but I just woke up with that sort of that voice telling me, oh, let's go out there and just deliver this message. And so I'm here. So good morning. I see Laura and I see Carla. Hello, hello. I decided to come and join you this morning to share this information that I'm going to be sharing this morning. So, for the ones that don't know it, I will be talking about family constellations today. I have some people that don't quite understand what that is, so that's why I'm here for. Family constellations, a way to transcend or for ancestral healing, let's say. We're going to talk a little bit about ancestral healing. And so here I am to share a little bit of a possibility, because it is a possibility. There are many, and this is the one that I have explored myself and that served me. So it might serve you if you allow just to listen to this information and see if you resonate with it, right? So good morning. I see Melissa and I see Stephanie and I see someone that is called Dulce, so that means that you're so sweet. And you're just reading my book, Laura. I'm so glad. Laura also joined our program. We are about to begin our training on family constellations. So, welcome, Laura. I'm so glad that you are doing that part of reading the book before even entering. Hi, Angela. I'm seeing you there as well. Good morning. Good morning. And so let's begin. Or no, let's say before I begin, I want to offer you this possibility for you to do this part of the work that you maybe are not even aware of. Because if you ask me, I was not aware of ancestral healing. I didn't know I had to do that part. And believe me, I walked so many healing modalities, trying to resolve certain feelings that I couldn't understand within myself. I couldn't understand memories that happened in my family system. I couldn't understand many things, but it was also all in my understanding. I was trying to understand. And I discovered that we don't heal through understanding, but through our feeling. When we get to feel differently, then the healing happened or happens. Yes. So that's what I discovered here in Family Constellations. And so let's begin by talking a little bit about what it is and how it can serve you. I don't know if you have heard about family constellations, and I'm asking you here because maybe many of you say, so what is that? Yeah, so many people get confused thinking that family constellations is astrology because of the word constellations. Well, it's not. Maybe in the translation from German to Spanish or to English, they call it constellations, but pretty much it's configurations. Yes? So it's family configurations. And well, the name that most people know it is family constellations. But let's talk about those configurations because we might be attached to them and we don't realize it or we are not aware of them. We might be identifying with certain dynamics that the family system had in the past when you were a child. And today you might be following like an invisible loyalty, these sort of configurations and dynamics that probably are not in order. So if these configurations are not in order, guess what? Well, your life might be repeating a pattern that is not in order. Let's say, I'm just going to give an example here. If let's say that one father in this family system abandoned the system, then maybe a descendant comes and identifies whether with the person who abandons the system or the person who becomes victim of abandonment. So look at your family system, because everything that happened there, somehow, if it wasn't resolved, is still happening today. Yes? So I'm here just to give you these observations for you to start acknowledging more of the dynamics in your family system. And if they might be somehow affecting you, affecting your relationships, affecting your present, affecting your health, your finances, or your success. So I am going to be talking, let's begin, about family constellations as a method or a possibility to heal a conflict or to resolve, let's say, a conflict that someone, a descendant, is experiencing, and it is attached or connected to his or her family system, his or her ancestors. Yes, and this conflict that the descendant doesn't know why these things happen to me is all connected to the past and to the unresolved memories of our ancestors. Most of our conflicts are connected to our past. So, how that happened? Well, there was a sort of let's say, a dynamic that happened because an experience that happened. And so the whole system rearranged itself for the system to continue. Yes. But in that order, probably there are some disorders. If we are talking about the abandonment, as I was just mentioning before, abandonment, if someone wasn't present for the family system, it the whole system rearranges because, well, one person is not going to be there. Someone needs to replace what that energy was giving. Let's say that it was the provider. So maybe one of the siblings of that system says, okay, I'm going to go work and provide for the family. So somehow becomes the provider of the family. And so we are trying to fill those empty gaps, those empty spaces from your family system. But in that, these disorders, yes, the system will work, continue to work, but not in order. Yes, so if let's say you were that one that decided to be the provider because maybe the father left, I'm just giving here an example, and the provider was the father, maybe you become the provider of the whole family system. But then your mother somehow energetically, somehow becomes your spouse, and your siblings somehow energetically become your children instead of your siblings. Yes? So this is all a disorder that it sounds crazy and ridiculous, maybe, but it happens. And that's how the system got to survive, got to move on, to continue life. Yes? So, family constellations, what it does is that it helps us identify those dynamics and if they are in order or in disorder and how they are affecting you. So once you can get to see that dynamic that might be affecting my present and my relationships and my health and my abundance, then I can say, oh, I'm identifying with this ancestor, or I'm repeating, I'm doing it just as my ancestors did, or you get to recognize that. Not only the memory, let's talk a little bit deeper. You also get to recognize that certain things you feel, those feelings that you like, why am I feeling this way? Could be connected to them as well. Meaning that, let's say, the sadness of grandma with a memory that was painful for her, if she didn't get to resolve that pain, guess what? A descendant might be feeling just as grandma felt when she was abandoned. Yes, so she might be feeling anger or frustration or resentment or sadness. And I would say, and I dare to say this here today, that probably 95% of those emotions that we don't understand are our ancestors, not even ours. We are carrying those misaligned or those painful emotions that our ancestors didn't resolve. And maybe today, when maybe my partner abandons me, what awakens in me are the feelings of my grandma when grandpa abandoned her. Yes, we somehow sacrifice ourselves for the system. It's like if you have done it like that, maybe that's how it should be. And unconsciously, of course, because all of this happens unconsciously, we do it the same. And at this point in history, right, in the evolution of us humans, what we are doing is reprogramming the memories of the past, reprogramming the memories of our ancestors. And once we get to transcend them, then we get to transcend life itself. So this healing is not only for you, for to change or transform your reality or your destiny, or for the ones that will be coming, but also to help reconcile your ancestors because they couldn't, maybe they didn't know this, they didn't know better, and also to heal the system of life. Because if we see it in a bigger picture, what we are doing today, all of us, all humans, we are trying or working on transcending the programming of the past. And what the programming of the past involves those emotions, that emotional resonance of our ancestors that wasn't resolved, that someone down the line, it could be you, the descendant, who is experiencing the same pain or suffering. So that's one of the reprogramming that we must work on changing. Also, those perspectives, all those limiting perspectives of fear, of surviving, yes, we already changed to a new era, to a new consciousness. But we are not feeling it yet. We are not feeling that state of consciousness, that new change, because we are trapped in those memories, in the past, in our ancestors, unresolved memories of our ancestors and emotions that couldn't be resolved. And so we are transcending all of these unresolved memories of the past to enter into connecting from a different set of mind. But for me to connect with you and to trust in you and to love you and to connect with you, I must first transcend those memories. Yes, because they are pulsing in our DNA, in our epigenetics. Yes, it's not like just thinking about it is going to go away, or the past is the past. My ancestors' past was theirs. My grandma and grandpa and whatever happened there was their stories. No, their stories in having they live. They are part of you. They are part of your information, your DNA information. That's why we get to feel how they felt. And you might ask that, so how a memory can be so deep that I don't recognize it? And how can I be feeling just as my grandma felt? Well, easy. The information stays in our cells. Yes, that's why I'm talking about DNA. That information of pain, suffering, and fear, and trauma, and all of it is part of the information that you inherited from your ancestors. So when you go through an experience just as they did in a different way in this modern time, guess what? It triggers you and you might feel just as they felt before. And you might respond to life just as they did before. So I'm here to share this possibility of how family constellations can help you transcend those ancestral memories and emotions, unresolved emotions, and limiting perspectives. Yes, that's why I'm here this morning, and that's what I wanted to share today. So you might say, but how? How can I find what happened to my ancestors? It happened so long ago. I don't have information about them. That's easy. Look at your present. What aspect of your life is not flowing as you want? Ask yourself this question. What is happening in my life today that I don't feel aligned to love or to consciousness? And then you can say, then this isn't mine. That might be, it might be that I am identifying with one ancestor that went through the same sort of story and couldn't resolve it. And I am here having this information today so I can have a possibility to change that, to benefit who? Myself and all, because this is very inclusive. Yes, we need to work on healing our memories, not for ourselves, not only for ourselves, but for the whole system and for the whole system of life. Yes? So you might say, so how am I carrying this? Yes, you have the information in your DNA. You inherited this past. Yes, in the epigenetics, just for you to know, because you might say, but how? Yes, you inherited the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, certain traits from your parents, but you also inherited these memories. And somehow someone needs to reconcile them. And that could be you. So the memories, just for you to know, are in your body, in every cell of your body, knows the truth. That is why when you approach to certain things, you feel fear or you want to protect yourself or you don't want to get closer because you say, if I do this, that's going to be painful. So your body feels it. Yes, it's like it gives you the information. It's the alarm that goes on and says, "Don't get closer to that because that can cause us pain." Yes, and of course there is a heart here that says, "No, I don't want to go through pain. I am going to walk away." But walking away is not the answer to resolve it. Yes, walking away might take you, yes, farther from something that could be painful to experience, but it's not the answer. It's not the solution for the issue that we want to resolve. Yes, not that you have to go through that, let's say, painful experience, but if you have this information that I'm going to be sharing here today, then you might be able to say, oh, I see why I have fear when I see you. Yes, and it'll be easier for you to confront your truth and to transcend it without having to go through that pain again. We want to liberate all of those painful experiences and memories from our system in order to just live our life at peace. It's like I can feel like I can trust in life and what comes to me. But if I haven't resolved those memories from the past and from my ancestors' past, then I'm I have fear of taking the steps because I don't know what's waiting for me. And I don't want to feel the pain that my ancestors felt. Yes? So those memories is homework. As you can see, that's homework, right? There is homework that is waiting for you to identify. We need to identify the memories that your family system lived, those dynamics, were they healthy? Did they allow flow, harmonious flow, or did they create more conflict? Am I living the same conflict as my ancestors lived? Yes, ask that question. Where, in what area of your life, in what aspect of your life? Because that can become your navigator to go in search of that truth and to reconcile it. Yes. So before I go, I want to share a little bit of how you can reconcile an ancestral memory, because you might say, yes, I can recognize the patterns in my family system. Yes, I don't want to repeat those, but how can I reconcile that past? Okay, let's go to that then. There is something called the morphogenetic field. Morphogenetic field. And you might be like, oh, that's you're speaking another language, right? It was me too. I was like, so what is the morphogenetic field? The morphogenetic field holds, listen to this, all the memories, all the memories of life. That means that in that field, all of the memories that you experience as a child are there. All the experiences that you have experienced so far are there. All the experiences that your parents experienced are there. All the experiences of your ancestors are there. Now, your ancestors and your family system might be connected to certain experiences that happened throughout the history of humanity. Let's say slavery or colonization or all of these memories, war, yes? And your system somehow might be carrying some of that. And we, the descendants, somehow are still experiencing that, not as the same is happening, but somehow within our psychology, it is happening. So maybe war is not out there for me at this moment, but it might be here. I might be struggling within. So I'm still at war. And it can be causing me what? Fear, pain, uh, anxiety, depression. What is it that is causing you? Because that can become your navigator. So, what happens when, let's say, you have this anxiety because you feel this struggling inside you and you don't know how to resolve it? Well, we go to that field of memories and we go to look for that specific memory when someone in your system got to feel that anxiety because something was going to happen and I was powerless. I couldn't do anything to resolve it, and maybe something very harsh happened. Maybe someone died, and maybe that separated us, and all of the conflicts that one experience have created, all of that is still within you. Yes? And so we need to go to find that ancestor in the transgenerational, because we can do that. Yes, we can do that. We can travel as far as we want to go and see where the memory is, the root cause of conflict of that memory. And we can reconcile it. Yes? And how do you do that? That's the other part. In family constellations, we have something called the orders of love. And these orders are three. I'm not going to be talking about them because it's going to take us a long time. But just I'm going to mention something about each of them. So one of them is called the order of belonging. Yes, order of belonging means that what if someone left to work, never came back, and we, the descendants, don't even know that some of our ancestors or one of them went to work and didn't come back? Are you acknowledging that that member is part of your system? Because if you're not, then there is some exclusion here. And maybe that ancestor wants to be seen and recognized by the system. Yes? So someone might be identifying with this ancestor and might be feeling, I feel like I'm not included or part of my family system. And not only in your family system, because that replicates in other groups in your life. Let's say I feel that I'm not included in my community or in this group or at work. So you are carrying an exclusion. Yes, so that would be the work that you need to work on. That would be your navigator. I'm feeling excluded, or I feel like I don't belong, or I feel rejected. You have homework to do. Homework that you cannot resolve outside, but also always within. Yes, your soul is got the answers. Your soul and the morphogenetic field that is going to show you your possibility to transcend whatever it is that you need to transcend. Yes, to heal, to um, to create this order. Yes, the second order is the order of hierarchy. Yes, and that order of hierarchy means that let's say that this ancestor went to war and died, never came back. So the system needs to somehow survive, and someone takes that place or that role of that person who was, let's say, the provider. So that somehow recreates a switch of roles, and when that switch of roles happens, the whole family system gets affected because someone is not in order. And there is an empty space that someone is trying to fill that is not supposed to. Because that person, even though abandoned or died or whatever the system, still is part of it. So if we honor that presence, no one needs to go and take that place. Yes, we simply need to honor what was and the destiny of our ancestors, just as it was, and give them their positionment, honor their presence, how it was. And that is a process also to work on, because I know it's hard for some people to say, well, my father was never there for me. How can I forgive that? Everything is just a process. If you get to understand the concepts of order of love, then maybe it'll be easier for you to start recreating this order. And I'm saying this because I've seen these cases. Yes, it takes time to heal, and it's okay. Um, Part of this journey of the soul of healing the unresolved memories of the ancestors is just a process, and we need to have compassion. And no, we don't need to have it, we will feel it when we are in the experience, because this work is an experience. It's not just an understanding in the mind, but you need to live that experience of going into that morphogenetic field to heal those memories of your ancestors. Yes. So the third order and the last one is the order of equilibrium, and it's got to do with how we give and receive. Yes, and how sometimes when we have so many gaps or voids, especially emotional voids, we are expecting others that are not our parents to fill them, our spouse, our children, our friends, and that's not how it corresponds. So pretty much these are the three orders that we must reorganize to recreate the unconscious dynamics of the family system, to recreate order for all. And when you get to do that reconciliation and that order in your morphogenetic field, you might feel it. You will feel it here in your heart. You will change your the way you see your perspective about some of your members of the family system. And then once you get to transcend it from here first, because it happens, the healing happens first here in your heart. If you get to feel it here with sincerity, then it aligns with your mind. And then you feel at peace, comprehension, and compassion. And then your whole body feels that sort of wellness. And then you recreate your surrounding in a different way because the way you are feeling. It's not what you want or what you want to be out, like your outside world will become what you get to change within yourself, not what you only want from your mind, because we all want uh, harmony and connection and love and this and that and that. But where are you related to those within? Where are you within your heart in order to attract that into your life? Because if you're not there yet, then it doesn't make sense to ask for that. You must go within and go and see where in your morphogenetic field of your family system, of your ancestors, the entrapment of a memory is not allowing that flow to continue to happen for you, to manifest a different reality or a different destiny for you. So that was my sharing, the one I wanted, the words that I wanted to bring here um, for you this morning. Yes, is there something to think about? Something to think about. Have you done the ancestral healing part already? Or you are skipping that step? Because if you're skipping that step, I'm telling you that what is not aligned in the way you want to manifest today in your life, in any aspect of your life, is connected to your ancestors. And if you're listening to this information, it may be that you could become the liberator of your family system and make it differently for you, for your descendants, for the ones that are to come, and for our ancestors, your ancestors that couldn't do it. They just were trying to facilitate the possibility to manifest harmony and love here and connection and all of it. But they just didn't have the tools. And now we have the tools. We have something called family constellations or family configurations to rearrange, to recreate the order of the system and to heal and transcend all of those emotions that are trapped in that field and all of those limiting perspectives that are trapped in the system that don't allow the system to flow, that don't allow your life to flow organically as you want. Yes, we all are looking for that. And once you get to transcend it, then you get to transcend it not only for yourself, but also for the whole system of life. And just to close this talk that I'm bringing here this morning, um, is that we all souls that are here incarnated in these bodies are with a mission of transcending the system of life through our own transcendence because we need to reprogram the past and everything that our ancestors lived throughout the history that is affecting our heart and our mind and not allowing us to live the new consciousness because we are in the new consciousness, but we cannot experience it until we don't transcend that from our own soul and mind. Yes? So that is the work. That is the work. So if you have a job to do, please do this part. If you haven't done it, here is a server, of course. I can help you, take you through that morphogenetic field, through that ocean of unconsciousness of the collective and your family system and your individual unconsciousness. And your transcendence will be that of all. That's why I feel so much gratitude when someone gives me the opportunity to serve them. Yes. So I'm offering here, just for you to know, I have an institute. It's called Systemic Healing Institute. And you can go, if you go to my website, systemichealinginstitute.com, I have a program of 8 modules where you will be able to see why am I identified with my family system, how I can recreate that, and we do a lot of work of transcendence in the experience, not in the understanding, in the experience. You will be navigating to the deepest part of your being, your soul, and your family system to transcend the most you can from the past. Yes. And so we have these 8 modules. You can come and join us, and I will be your guide and your guide and your facilitator throughout that process, if you allow me to. If not, please look for Family Constellations. Look out there. I'm sure there are so many servers willing to help you, and just do the work. Put yourself in that field and experience family constellations and see what happens after. Because I can talk a lot, but you won't be able to get just the richness of experiencing a session on family constellations. Okay? So, ancestral healing, I'm here. That's my purpose. Healing the system of life through ancestral healing. And again, my website is systemichealinginstitute.com. You can see our whole program there. Or also you can go to mayadaridelsol.com if you would like to maybe have a session one-on-one, yes, and experience this simple but very powerful way of transcending your past and your ancestors' past. All right, my dear. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to see you soon again. Mwah. Sending love. Thank you for watching.